Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Next Door Photos. I'm Patrick Braddick, owner and publisher of Cincinnati Real Producers.
And I'm Daniel Ziegler, owner of Next Door Photos. Every week, we're getting to know Cincinnati's top realtors.
Our goal is to elevate and inspire the real estate community throughout greater Cincinnati.
All right, well, today we have Varun Varma, team lead for the Varma Realty Group of Coldwell Banker Realty. Varun has been selling real estate since 2016. His career sales volume is a whopping $121 million, and in 2022 alone, his production was nearly $22 million. Varun has been honored to receive the Cincinnati Real Producers Realtor on the Rise Award, along with Circle of Excellence and the Top 30 Award at Coldwell Banker. Welcome to the show, Varun Varma.
Appreciate it.
Golly.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Excited,
How we doing?
Excited to have you, man.
Yeah.
So this is round two.
Yeah.
Again, we did this with Floor, and we had our videos were they slow motion?
They were slow motion.
So we caught half of the interview,
Bummer.
and now we get to hang out again.
Absolutely.
So this is good.
It's a
This is
win.
very
'Cause,
good.
yeah, last time we did it, we got to hang out twice in that
Yeah.
week too. So good way to end
this
the
is a
year.
good month.
Yeah, great month. Great month. Great month. Yeah,
So-
absolutely. No, excited
welcome,
to be here.
man.
Yeah,
And,
thank you.
Congratulations on the success, and then the family and everything like that. It seems like everything's rolling in the right direction for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely a wild year. Had our first kid, a baby girl, in May, and
Congrats.
thank you. That's been an amazing wild ride. Super lucky to have an amazing wife and mother to our child, who is just a complete rock star. And to be honest, I don't know how women do it, man. They put up with the dads
They're
and
superheroes,
the kid.
man.
Yeah, they are definitely superheroes. So, yeah, so she's been super supportive and kind of helping me continue run the business. Looking at numbers, things like that wasn't where I wanted to be. But and also year to date, but obviously the market drastically shifted and life drastically changed and things like that. Because there's times that could I be doing some prospecting or business growing, or hanging out with the family and things like that. So that's definitely been a good
find
development year. So yeah.
I find it to really be interesting when you're in the moment, you feel guilty,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you take that step back and look from like that 30,000 foot view of the year, you're like, man, we got a lot done this year, and business is fine. Real estate's always going to have those ebbs and flows, but we're never going to have another first child again. So it's like
Exactly.
it's cool that you're able to balance that, man.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not going to look back, 5-10 years from now and say, oh, great, I hit my sales numbers, but what did that cost me in that sense? I didn't get to, spend as much time, with the family and things like that. So fortunate enough to be able to be successful in both, I think, and just continue to grow and adapt and see where the next year takes us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So, yeah, excited for 2024. It should be a good time, with what they're saying about the rates and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that'll be fun.
And this is, we're recording in December, so this is going to be, I don't know when, February, maybe March?
Yeah, no, probably late January or
All
February.
right, so
Cool. Yeah.
that'll be, in the what I'm thinking might be the new spring, like with the way the rates have shifted already.
Yeah.
Do you have any insight on that, like as far as your projections for any typical spring hot market or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I think we'll definitely be getting back into that frenzy mode a little bit. Multiple offers, perhaps waiving of some contingencies, and that whole world of that stuff. But I think people will still be a little more cautious because we're not at the 2.5-3% rates anymore. We're still probably in the 5s, 6, maybe 4s or whatnot. But I think it's a little bit more level-headed in that sense, where it was just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Those couple of years where essentially there was just free money. But life happens, life changes, things like that. So people need to, move or upgrade their house or downsize or whatnot. So that will happen. And, with the new generation coming in, the biggest one since the baby boomers, they all still need houses, and they're all more financially conscious and things like that. So they understand that real estate is kind of one of the better investments than others. And I think that whole generation, that trend away from the stocks and all that stuff has really highlighted real estate. There's a certain excitement and sexiness about real estate, and all these gurus out there that you can find on Instagram or TikTok and things like that. I mean, they're not wrong in the sense of certain numbers and things that make sense with real estate, acquisitions, investments, whatever you do in the real estate game that really can make you successful and set you up for a good lifelong future plan. So, yeah. So,
but from that outsider, you only see the tip of the iceberg too.
Yeah.
It's like everybody thinks it's easy, and I think it's interesting that people don't need a real estate agent, because what are those stats that say like, you lose like 8 to 10 or 15% of the value or the potential value out of the house if you don't use a real estate agent or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's very true. I mean, if you're aligned with a good real estate agent, you'll certainly see the value add. From understanding the market, negotiating, understand certain things that even come in from the lender or title and things like that, to really, get a good grasp and make sure that you're in the right hands and protected, that, okay, like you said, is this top dollar that I can get for the house? Am I being represented well, that this house is not going to cost me $10,000 in plumbing issues,
right,
because, my agent helped walk me through and understand, what the inspection report said, and, understanding if does a price reduction make sense or closing credit makes more sense,
right,
to, stay a little bit more liquid and things like that. So understanding all that can certainly, add the value as a buyer and both as a seller, so that you're getting top dollar, you're having a good experience, and you're not having the remorse after the fact, or talking to a colleague and say, oh yeah, I could have gotten that, or oh no, actually this actually happened, things like that. There'll always be the conversation of are realtors needed, are they necessary, oh how can we replace them, and things like that. But you see all these big online tech companies, Zillow, Realtor.com, things like that have tried to work around, but those businesses have failed in that sense, because there's really no replacing, the human aspect of it. The person that's seeing the property, being able to offer the advice and understand the feelings and compassion and the why of the reason why that person is selling, what their goals are, what their needs are, why that person's buying. How do they logistically, coordinate everything from, cool, school's ending, so we'd like to be in a house by August. We've got to sell this house, but we need some occupancy. We need to do this, this, and this, and this. So it's like we're not only realtors, we're logistical coordinators in some sense, and sometimes even
social workers too.
Social workers, therapists, babysitters. Okay, hey, I'll watch the baby while you go run in the house and take a look and things like that. So it's just, there's so many moving parts that people don't realize outside of just the surface thing of, oh, okay, cool, thanks for letting me in the house. So if that's the experience you get, that's unfortunate. I feel bad, for you as a person making a big investment, and I feel bad for that agent that's, maybe they're not qualified enough, or maybe they just don't care enough to, provide that excellent service. And I think, for the most part, I think people I surround myself with, that I've been fortunate enough to surround myself in the industry, all care. At the end of the day. So that's what I love about this whole world.
That's great stuff, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. And I think one of the things that can maybe contribute to this idea that realtors aren't necessary is when a realtor is doing a really good job, they're making the whole process really easy. And they don't see everything that you're doing. And so from their perspective, it's like, wow, that was so easy. Why do we really need this guy?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, because you have no idea how awful this would have been if he wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. I always kind of look back at there's an analogy or comparison that's like, okay, you see a swan that's so gracious and elegant, but underneath the water, they're just, paddling like crazy. And that's kind of sometimes how real estate is. We keep things, normal to the client, but in the back, lender and title may be, hey, we're not sure if we
Throwing
get
up
this,
in the toilet, dude.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we're fine. What? Oh, yeah. So,
holding
but
it all together.
that's what keeps our juices going,
But I refuse to believe
Yeah.
that this industry will ever be tech driven, no matter how hard some of these bigger companies try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just truly feel that the balance between the solid relationships between realtors and technology are going to succeed for years and years to come. Like,
Yep.
you can't replace that human touch of making somebody feel comfortable about spending $100 to $2 million on a house.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
and I get that those are two different aspects of clientele and everything like that, but like it's still important to those people, no matter what the price is.
Right.
So to have that human element, I think, is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, and for the most part, I think most people understand the value of real estate agents. It's just the ones that make the headlines, or maybe the ones that have the bad experience and things like that. But even with the new trend of AI coming in, ChatGPT and things like that, it's kind of how internet and MLS was formed and all that stuff. And it's how you embrace it, how you utilize it as a tool versus it's something new I got to learn, or this is crazy. I don't want AI to take over and take my job away or whatnot and things like that. It's just how you utilize and embrace that brand new resource that can provide so much to you, your business, to anything, even on the personal aspect of it. It can make meal plans, it can make grocery lists, it can make budget things, it can make just insane. But I think you're absolutely right. Technology and humans should come together versus trying to compete. And I may say this may be a little bit crazy, but I wish when Zillow and things like that came about, it was something that Zillow and NAR or whoever was the head of realtors as an association kind of more so came together versus acted as
more
competitors.
Of a collaborative effort.
Correct. Yeah, because I think there's some great things that Zillow and those websites offer, and same as the human touch. The people that are actually on the ground, actually understanding the local market, actually have the knowledge and experience to then collaborate with the technology and put out something that's fantastic without the fear of they'll erase us or they'll get rid of us or vice versa. And I don't think that's the case. I think the case should always be, how can we collaborate, how can we work together, versus seeing it as competition or an adversary. And I think life in general, the world in general, could be a whole lot better if you took that viewpoint versus what most people take.
Right.
So because even collaborating with agents in here, and that's what I love the office that I'm in, is because everyone's just so helpful. You've got great top teams and things like that, and you've got just individual agents that are just getting into the business. And I always see people collaborating and working together because it's not a competition.
It's awesome.
It's just a collaborative more so. So it's real estate, it's relationships. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, so let's take it back for our listeners and how you got into real estate and a little bit of your history and the path that you took to where you are now.
Sure. Yeah. Grew up here in Cincinnati, born and raised, first generation American Indian, and went to good old Anderson High. Grew up on the east side. Went to UC. Did not finish. Kind of went into the hospitality world because I really liked more hands-on type things. So got connected with a family friend that started a banquet hall, and so kind of worked my way up through that. Really loved that, and that kind of helped mold my service that I provide today in terms of kind of hospitality, doing whatever it takes, whatever's needed mentality, because we were working with clients that were getting married, things like that, throwing big events, big occasions that were very important to them. And I think that's very similar to real estate. A lot of these purchases or sales are the biggest that they've done, the most important thing to them, their first home, their home where they raise their family, things like that. So that kind of, I've always kind of seen that as going hand in hand and providing that same service. And then from there, kind of helped out my parents who owned convenience stores for a little bit. And then in kind of transitioning out of that, a good friend of mine who was probably my first mentor in the real estate world, Jeff Rosa, got me into real estate. We started getting into the investment space. And then, him and I had a conversation about how I really enjoyed real estate. He kind of picked up on that as well. And from there, got my license, joined Sipsey Klein, kind of just learned from Jeff, and then got in the residential space because, my sphere was starting to buy and needed to sell and things like that. So just kind of transitioned to that. And when I was ready to take the next step in 2019 to kind of build a team and see where my next plans were going to take me, I was fortunate enough to meet with Bill over at Coldwell Banker Hyde Park office, and really just noticed the power in that office, the powerhouse teams in there, and, knew I wanted to be around them and align myself with those type of, men and women who are absolutely, crushers in the world, in the real estate industry. So, had a very fortunate path in the real estate, industry up until now, and can look forward to continuing that success and trend and seeing where the next few years take me, and hopefully just retire early and
awesome.
Find me on a beach. Next podcast I'll be on a beach.
There you go. There you go.
Love it.
Yeah. So
those
very
are some
fortunate.
big names you're talking about too. Bill Heckman with Coldwell Banker and Jeff Rosa with not with Sipsy anymore, with
Weichert. Yeah.
Two great guys, man. Just like good people to surround yourself with.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's definitely people that have gone through ups and downs in the real estate world and struggles. And I think, the biggest piece of advice is try to align yourself with, a manager, a broker, a peer that has experience to share, because I think real estate and navigating through real estate is all based on experience, hands-on, going through transactions, going through homes, going through different situations is really how you truly learn and are able to offer the best service to your clients. Again, maybe not what people want to hear, but real estate school is not the answer. I mean, you got to pass the test, sure, to get the license, but I think once you pass that, everything's gone, and it's just more so focused on, okay, sure, how do you build your business? That's business planning. How do you align yourself with the right people so you can, offer that, top-notch service to your clients and have a really good experience? And like I said, been very fortunate, been very lucky, in my life as a whole to be aligned with fantastic people and kind of go through the journey that I've been. Definitely a bumpy one, but wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it at all, because I think it's a learning experience that I can now share with my daughter. That's awesome. When she's ready to hang out with me at an open house for tax benefits, and things like that. So that's kind of just.
I know you want to. You don't have to. I know you want to come join me. Yeah.
No, you don't want to go to the museum with your friends. Let's go hang out. Let's go put up open house signs and balloons everywhere. So,
which I mean, it was kind of interesting too when you reflect on it. Like, that's in the grand scheme of things an easy little job to like employ your kid to just educate them on the powers of hard work. And then but you were stocking the shelves and running the books and like you're doing everything from a young age
pretty much
with your folks' convenience stores.
Exactly. Like, I mean, that's where a lot of my drive and motivation and dedication comes from, is just working as soon as I was able to. I mean, I think it was 6th grade that I started stocking the shelves and things like that. And then just being a sponge and seeing my mom and dad operate, the store and, run a business, and the struggles and sacrifices they had. And, I think back then that generation was focused on, providing for the family, and those sacrifices, made the parents kind of be away longer, be at work, be at the store, things like that longer, and maybe miss some, soccer games or whatnot and stuff like that. And I think now the new trend is, okay, family work balance and things like that, and adjusting to those same sacrifices, but being around more. And I mean, I'm not saying that just because I, have parent issues in that sense, but I understand now for sure, right? Those are things that they did to provide and put me in a position to succeed and things like that.
Well, I mean, and the sacrifice that they were able to, just put forth, I think gives you the ability to sacrifice and leverage your time to be with your family.
Absolutely.
So like, this is all coming back from when your parents were working their tails off.
Yeah.
So like, when you take a big step back and reflect on your family, that's really cool to see that, like, hey man, they did a lot for you to be able to set your schedule and be at like a soccer game or, anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, my family and them, they're my complete why. I know that's corny and cheesy to say, but
Not at all.
you know, yeah, they're the why I do things, how I operate, and what kind of service I provide to other families and things like that, because I understand the importance of family. I mean, that's everything. You know, we're right around the time of holidays, and you know, the annoyance of families sometimes. Like, okay, I've spent too much time with you, let me get a break.
I love you.
It's like,
I swear I love you.
swear I love you, but all right, it is too much. So
Need my space.
yeah. So but yeah, it's just definitely been an amazing journey. Ups and downs for sure, like anyone. I haven't had the worst, haven't had the best, but you know, love where I came from and love to kind of see where I'm going with the next road, and you know, raising a daughter in this world as well. So yeah, excited for that.
And what year are you in real estate? Are you like 8?
Going on 7, 8.
Something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. So
I mean, you still have a lifetime of experience and growth in front of you, which is really exciting too.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me if I had a regret, I would say not getting into real estate sooner. You know, I wish I had, because it's just amazing. And I have some clients that are, you know, 20, 21, things like that, getting out of college, got turned on to real estate. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to be connected to them, and kind of, that's one of my most exciting times, is being able to kind of just nurture these individuals that are excited about real estate, see the potential and the value in it, and then just kind of guide them through the entire process. And, you know, sometimes I see myself in them or whatnot, and but it's just that's the exciting part, is just getting anybody into real estate, to help them see the value of and that joy of, you know, ownership or investment ownership or whatever it may be, you know, because it's a tangible product versus you know, a stock, you know, and hoping that the CEO doesn't tweet something out that's like, oh, okay, well, there goes, you know, there goes my life and investment and things like that, or whatever it may be. It's just, that's what I've enjoyed. And trust me, I went through the stock game and stock fun, especially the last couple of years.
You're sitting at home.
GameStop.
Davey Day Trader.
Yeah, exactly. And it's fun. But I mean, I just enjoy real estate, because even our flip investments, things like that, you're able to create something different, you know, create a fun vision, and put that, you know, love into this new project that, you know, is going to fit for someone else, and they're going to love that same design or choices that you made in the project, and they're going to enjoy that. That's going to be someone's home, and that's what I love about the investment part too. So, yeah. So it's
I think it's interesting. Like, we need to, this is the notes for us, like, we need to do a good job of asking the advice of you for somebody who's been in the business 0 to 8 years, and then if we ever have anybody who's been in like 25 years, getting those two, because his vision is going to be a whole lot different than somebody who's like, I'm ready to call it quits, you know.
Get me out. Get out quicker.
Quit now. That's fine. You can go.
Get out quicker.
That's funny. So maybe we shouldn't ask that to the older people.
I wish I would have gotten out sooner.
But I honestly would love to look this up and see what the average age of a real estate agent is in Cincinnati, because it has to be going down. Like, when I started,
100%.
it was like 58 was the age.
Yeah, I think standard across the board was like 50, mid 50s,
like,
and you know, Caucasian woman, things like that.
Or low 50s at this point, because there's so many young people getting into it.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting to see a lot of the kind of younger generation. It's weird to say younger generation, because then I make myself feel you know, old. But
you're part of that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great. Other colleagues I see with other brokerages and things like that, and even newcomers coming in that are just, you know, young and motivated, you know, somehow got into real estate, and now they're thriving. You know, they're rookies of the year in our brokerage and things like that, and it's exciting to see. And that's why, like I said earlier, I was like, well, the only thing I regret, if you asked me, was, you know, not getting in sooner.
Sure.
Yeah. So maybe we'll I would like to look that up too, just to see, like, all right, have we broken?
And there's nothing against.
Oh, it's 45. Okay, 49. Okay.
Still that?
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, it's come down 10 years then.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's drastic in 6 years. I mean, I think that's what it was when I looked at it.
That's a huge. In a couple years or whatnot. Yeah, to drop 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, yeah, because I think plus it's more achievable now to get a real estate license and things like that. So, because when I went through, you had to be in person. Ohio's regulations or rules were, you needed ass and seat.
Now you can do it from home.
Yeah, now you can do it from home. I think that changed with COVID and everything like that, but now you can do it at home, and there's so many other programs and things like that offer. Yeah, exactly. So
what is that law?
Yeah.
Here's the answer.
Yeah. So I think for the test you still have to go in person, but yeah. So at least they made that easier. But
I have a theory too that, like, this is based on no facts that I know, just totally in my head here, but that newer generations are wanting to work with people that they relate to more. And I think working with somebody that's closer to their age is somebody that they can relate to, that understands them better. Because I think in the past, you look to somebody older and wiser maybe, and that's maybe
and like, what are you looking for?
Right.
Like, what you're looking for as a 65 or 70-year-old person is completely different than a 21-year-old person.
100%. And I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I've certainly been a part of transactions that, I've looked across the other table and I'm like, how did you guys get connected?
Yeah.
And it's just like, not in terms of, being rude or mean or things like that. It's just like, because usually a lot of times, the referral you get for a realtor is a colleague, someone in the same circle a little bit, or, very similar circles. But then sometimes I'm like, head scratcher for sure. But it's a very good point, because it's like they don't have maybe the same vision, especially with the younger group. They're like, well, we're more work from home, and the older,
and it could be the generation
agents,
as far as like the era, like people didn't leave jobs, people weren't headhunted to go to different careers like they are these days. And it's like, I forget what the statistic was, and you can't quote me on this, but it's something like you will make like I don't know, like 10 or 12% more if you get headhunted to a different job. And if you don't, you're just leaving all of this money on the table. So like people, like every 2 years, they're switching jobs because they're getting headhunted.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, it doesn't look bad anymore to not have that longevity at a career. Whereas like in the 70s and 80s in real estate, I've been a realtor for 25 years. That's your stamp on, you're providing great service. So like, hey, my kids are looking to buy a house, you have to go to Varun, and then their kids. And and I've heard those stories time and time again, and now it's starting to seem like it's shifting, almost like just like the workforce is shifting. I don't know. It's super wild, man. Like it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, for sure. But no, it's exciting to be a part, because we're right at I think a huge dynamic change from obviously the pandemic, big generation going out, even bigger generation coming in, and you're seeing the huge dynamic, like you said, even in the workforce. People aren't at the 9-to-5s. People are able to make money on algorithms and other things, and you're like, wait a minute, you made one TikTok and now you've got so many brands trying to promote you or trying to pay you for promotions and things like that, and it's crazy, and the whole, then the cryptocurrency world or whatnot, which I never got into, but there's so many different other avenues to make money these days. And that's what's kind of, I think, fueled the real estate world too, and the dynamic perspective of it, to go away from other.
Well, and certain agents didn't want to learn Zoom. They didn't want to do everything via computers. They're like, that's not how I work, so I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because the whole trend of even giving Fridays off and things like that. So because it's, figuring out ways to increase efficiency, because in the real estate world, one of the biggest reasons people get in, because the flexibility and you're your own boss and things like that, and you are. But you have to hold yourself accountable for sure. I'm going to tell you do that. Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. I will. I'll work 3 hours this week. But in 2-3 weeks, when you were to have a closing or whatnot, you don't have one. But okay, I'm going to work 40-50 hours this week, or I'm going to be out there networking, prospecting, doing some real estate related stuff. I don't think I've ever worked 40-50 hours in a week in the real estate world. Just fortunate enough to not be able to not have to do that, and that's not a knock on people that do, but that's the good flexibility option
Mm-hmm.
of, working efficiently and effectively. What are you doing with your time?
Or dedicating, like, hey, I know that I'll be doing stuff on Saturday morning.
Right.
Like, it's not normal for me to be working on or for anybody to be working on Saturday morning, but that's the norm in real estate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, and how you're effectively using your time to do marketing or do networking or whatnot. Am I sending out, 100 mailers to this neighborhood that I farm that may or may not come to me? Or am I working on a video that I can, share online and just talk about, this transaction I went through, or talk about what this recent headline was and things like that. And that's, that's what I enjoy, is just the social media and things like that. And I'm not, doing anything different than a lot of our, colleagues are, because there's other agents that have thousands of followers, and I think I only have like 800 or something. But there's just being able to shift that kind of mentality of what you're working on, how you're networking and, marketing your brand has been an exciting part of real estate world, because one day I might get that blue check. You never know.
Well, and I feel like you do a great
famous.
job. I feel like you're very consistent with your social media.
Thank you.
So like it's something that I hate to say, that it's a job in itself. Like staying up with that sort of stuff, it's not easy. So I feel like you guys do it very, very well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking for sure. Behind the scenes is funny, and my wife always gets annoyed. I was like, babe, does this look okay? Like, I was like, dude, it's fine. I was like, are you sure? Because it's like, I don't know if I like it. And they're like, I become more of a diva then, and my wife's like, dude, get away from me.
I'm like the opposite too. Like I'm like telling Daniel, like, if you guys want the cameras on you and then whatever realtor we bring in, like, you don't have to put me on camera. I'm totally fine with not being on camera.
Yeah, but no, it's funny. I wish like we could just put out bloopers, things like that too. And I was actually talking to my marketing manager, try to kind of create some blooper reel for end of the year and things like that, and just to kind of see. But I got to go through all the files and things to send her stuff.
It's a lot of work.
It's there's got to be a lot of bloopers. I'm sure for you guys too.
I made a blooper reel one time.
Oh, really? Nice.
For like a video shoot that I did with a couple agents, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
I think it's on my TikTok. You'll have to go watch it.
Nice. I'll go check it out. But that's the exciting part too, is like you can just share the story, share everything you do in real estate. It doesn't have to be just listed, just sold. People join people, right?
Yeah,
exactly. People want to see like, okay, cool, like this guy is actually a real person, and is approachable in that sense, because maybe some, the way some real estate agents dress, I've always worn a blazer and things like that, just because, you dress for success, and I will always like that. Maybe not when I'm going to my investment projects in the middle of the day.
Sure,
I have to drop off a jacket at the dry cleaner because got a whole bunch of drywall mud on it or whatever. But anyways, it's just kind of how you present yourself. But at the end of the day, people just want to see, and you guys probably know the tracking of everything and all that too. It's like you get more engagement when you're more real. You're more real, you're more open, you're more honest, and things like that. And I put my daughter in a couple of them, and not for marketing purposes, but just to show, like, because there was a time in May I didn't have a bunch of videos, but I kind of just did a "Hey, I'm back" video of just, "Hey, I'm back." I was, out because I didn't care about anything else, but this little thing,
like a Lion King.
Like Lion King. Exactly. This is the next generation of Varma Realty Group.
That's awesome.
Love it.
So the being real, the genuine, all that stuff, that's really what it is. I mean, we're not in a career of rocket science or brain surgery, things like that. Our egos may tell us differently, but no, it's just having fun. You get to celebrate a huge accomplishment with a lot of people. And that's what the joy is, becoming friends with these guys afterwards, going to get a drink and celebrating. I mean, my wife kind of hated it for a while, but there was a span of 2 summers where I was constantly getting invited to clients' weddings or birthdays and things like that. And I enjoyed it because that was, to me, the biggest thank you. You know, my wife is kind of a little bit opposite of me, more of an introvert and things like that. So, but that to me was the biggest accomplishment of the biggest thank you that you could get of, hey, we're family, we're friends now. That's awesome. Come celebrate my biggest day, you know, now. And, you know, I love that. And,
good for you.
You know, so it's not really a job. It's just kind of helping out, showing you care, doing what you love, and, you know, being there for these people that have worked their butts off to be able to buy a house, you know, or sell their house and upgrade, and because of amazing life changes, you know, getting married, having a kid, things like that.
Speaking of stuff that we love, Daniel, I think we love back-to-back ministries, don't we?
We do. Yeah, so we want to ask you some advice, Varun, but before we do, we're just going to give a quick plug to Back-to-Back Ministries, whose podcast studio we are in right now. Back-to-Back Ministries is a global nonprofit orphan care organization with their sights set on providing care for today and hope for every tomorrow. From Cincinnati, Ohio to Hyderabad, India, staff teams around the world are stepping into hard stories and choosing to stay. To learn more about the work Back-to-Back does, how you can get involved, and why a global team won't stop until every child is known and loved, visit backtoback.org today. So, we're always super grateful to Back-to-Back for letting us use this space.
Absolutely. Yeah, great setup here.
Works great for us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But we wanted to ask some advice that you might want to offer our listeners. So we want to start with buyers and sellers in the market today, and maybe kind of what we were alluding to might be down the road here in 2024. What would your advice be?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, align yourself with an agent or advisor that truly knows the local market. You know, the headlines, they are just that, headlines. You know, they're maybe clickbait, things like that you may not fully understand. But, you know, align yourself that if you have any questions about the real estate world, you know, align yourself with an agent or advisor that you can trust, and that will give you the insight and knowledge. Because, you know, the way I have conversations with people looking to buy or sell, whether they're, you know, doing it tomorrow or doing it 6 months or a year or whatnot, is just kind of being an advisor to them in that sense of helping logistically plan their goals.
Right.
So I think just, try to stay away from the headlines.
Right.
I think a lot of that is clickbait and scare tactics. Or if you have a question about a headline, you know, reach out to someone that you know in the real estate world that may be able to give you better insight to that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
But trust your agent, and you know, understand the who understands the market versus a reporter that is, you know, maybe not.
Right. Not trustworthy. Or, I mean, real estate's so hyper local. You know, a headline that might be relevant in California might be completely irrelevant in Ohio.
Correct. Yeah. So from the investment and residential real estate spaces, you're absolutely right. It's definitely hyper local, because the big cities definitely took a huge hit. And a lot of those headlines are related to the big cities and not the local market, where, you know, in COVID times, we actually had a huge increase because we were, you know, our cost of living was great. We were a city kind of already set up with OTR, Norwood, different areas that were still, you know, young professional kind of focused, not completely suburbs or whatnot. And our suburbs were already great as well. So had a lot to offer at a, you know, better rate, better price than what you can get in the West Coast or East Coast and things like that. So you nailed it there in terms of, you know, hyper local in that sense. Right. Maybe I'll use that word in my next video.
There you go. I just stole it from somebody else, so you can take it.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel. He wrote my script.
Hyper local.
Awesome. Pretty sure I stole it from one of our prior guests. So that's all right. Yeah. We're collaborating.
There we go. Absolutely.
Well, speaking of collaborating, what advice would you offer to either somebody maybe considering becoming a real estate agent, or maybe somebody who is a brand new real estate agent?
Yeah, for sure. I think I touched on it earlier. Just align yourself with someone that is knowledgeable and find yourself a good mentor. Like I said earlier, I've been super lucky to have a couple, not just one. And I think even if you just have one who can guide you through and help you understand what you're going through, because any agent that's been in the business for a long time did have year one.
Right.
You know, maybe they were successful, maybe it wasn't. Mine wasn't that successful because I was still kind of doing other things, but I know that some first year rookie of the years in our brokerage specifically have done extremely well. And I think it's become because of them aligning with themselves with the right manager, a right peer, the right brokerage and things like that can help them succeed to how they want to succeed. Because, if you're getting into real estate, you have some goals and visions and things like that. You're not necessarily going into it blindly, but there's something that's drawn you to the real estate world. So aligning yourself with someone that can help, elevate
fill in the gaps from what you didn't learn to pass that real estate test.
Exactly. So who has the experience I can walk you through, because real estate is completely experience based, and being able to navigate through the crazy transactions, the easy ones, how to handle things and all that stuff, and represent yourself well so that your clients feel confident in you, then that's the best way you can help your business grow, because your clients will see that too, that year one they may not trust or may want to say, okay, why shouldn't I go with someone that's been in 5 years, things like that. But you being able to align yourself with someone to get you through those no's, perhaps when you're at the listing appointments or at the buyer consult and things like that, and putting your best foot forward and aligning yourself with a team lead or another realtor or a mentor agent or in the broker manager in the office, I think is your best shot of success to start off, to hit the ground running.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's good stuff.
Well, thank you again for jumping on here with us for the second time.
Yeah, for sure.
We I really appreciate you, man. I love watching your success and your growth, and excited to see where it goes, brother.
Thank you. That means a lot, because it's you do it for the clients and their needs and happiness, and everything else that comes with it is just icing on the cake.
That's awesome.
I don't think anybody's joining real estate or getting their license to, no offense, just their one goal is be on the cover of Cincinnati Real Producers, but those are just extra achievements. It is a big goal. It is a big goal. But those kind of awards and achievements come, just as a big thank you. Like I said earlier, being invited to these family weddings and things like that is the biggest thank you or job well done accomplishment. That it's like, okay, these people.
Well, that's why we're so successful, is because we recognize the hard work that you guys put in. So being able to say thank you for that work, when it doesn't always happen, there's a lot of times you're, not all heroes wear capes, right? So it's like, you guys are working hard, and it's our way of saying great job.
And we appreciate that. I mean,
7,000 agents out there. It's like,
what you guys are doing here is fantastic, because we appreciate that too. Because like I said, it's not something that's our main goal, but to be recognized and the articles that you guys put out there, just understanding the walks of life, because everyone here has gone through a different walk of life to end up in the real estate world, and the way people can kind of see those and read those stories is just exciting, and
it makes the market that much more collaborative. Like it just makes it less competitive and more, I didn't know that about Varun, or I didn't know that about Scott or whoever. It's like, man, they're good, so
there was an article a couple years ago with Liz Lemon that focused on mental health, and I think mental health is a huge importance and things like that. And I reached out to her, and we kind of started talking, but unfortunately COVID kind of happened and that kind of went away. But my brother's in the mental health space, and it's huge, widely important.
It's a huge topic of conversation right now too. We could do a whole podcast on mental health. I mean, it's super important. So we appreciate what you guys do. We love it, and thanks for having me.
Always. Absolutely.
If there's a round 3, I'll come back.
Varun Varma,
Third time's
everybody.
a charm. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to the Cincinnati Real Producers Podcast, powered by Nextdoor Photos. We do this every week, so be sure to subscribe so you can follow along. If you liked our conversation, leave us a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts.